Hello, welcome. Today's video is a bit longer. I do show right here how the paper connects in. It's pretty simple. But I wasn't really thinking about talking about it today because I've just had a bit of other stuff on my mind recently. And I thought I could just talk a little bit. I will say that the video and the cards, I'm making these cute little bees that will come out from behind the beehive / from inside the beehive and fly to a nice little flower. It's a cute mix of some of my grandma's flower pieces and the bees in the hives are new creations from me. But other than that, I didn't really have much to say about the card. So I just felt like talking a bit about something important to me. A lot of people who know me know that I suffer from major depressive disorder, or I guess the preferred phrase is I battle depression. I have been in and out of therapy for half of my life. I've tried medications. I try to do the things that people always say. Try this, try that. And it's very much an up and down situation for me. I am definitely not a professional, and this is all my own personal feelings, but it's been quite a struggle. It's still definitely what one would call a dumpster fire. Most days. Recently, I entered an intensive outpatient program, which is just a really fun title for extra therapy and skills learning. The therapy's nice. I've been doing group, which has given me, other perspectives, and you get to see that you're not struggling alone, and that there's lots of people out there who also battle mental health disorders. I do struggle, though, with comparing myself because sometimes I see people who have gone through terrible things and yet they are doing so well in life. I mean, obviously not amazing because they're in therapy, but really, that's a whole thing because I believe, and I know that most people who have ever done therapy also think that anyone and everyone should try therapy at least once because you could learn skills, you could learn how to deal with situations that you might struggle with, and at the very least, you have someone to vent to. And sometimes that can just take such a weight off of your shoulders. But I have been struggling to believe that it is actually going to help because when you spend so much time with things not working out, it's so hard to have that hope and belief that it will. And one of the big tricks with mental health disorders is that you can't fix it. It's not a curable thing, though most people will tell you that it's also not so much a problem. It really is just a different chemical and wiring setup in your brain. But it can only ever be managed. And even managing isn't a full-time perfect thing. You can learn the coping skills. You can do everything you can to avoid things, triggers, high emotions, whatever struggles you may have, but it tends to always come around. And even for those who are really high functioning, even they see judgment from people. There have been times where I am super happy and high functioning and productive, and people are always surprised to find out that, I I have major depression. I I spend way more time doing nothing or sleeping or just trying to get through the day than it looks like, because people with mental health disorders, you don't see it. It doesn't have a physical appearance. So we tend to have to hide it because you can't function in society with it. And if it even popped out a little bit, people, are very, judgmental, like, why are you emotional, or this or that. And judgment is just such the hardest thing to deal with. My biggest thing is always those people who are like, well, why can't you just do the thing? For me, I struggle with chores and basic hygiene sometimes, and just doing things that people just have to do, part of living, literally. And some people just can be so judgmental about it. Like, I have personally heard are you sure you're not just being lazy? And that is one of the worst things you can tell someone with depression, because, we're not choosing to do that. Like, we have to be reminded pretty often, if I was being lazy, I would be doing things that I enjoy and not just doing nothing. I can doom scroll, or I can sit and watch mind-numbing TV, but sometimes it's just so hard to do the simplest things, even things I want to do. These cards actually are kind of one of the only things I've been doing recently. My therapist told me to keep crafting, because it's kind of that thin thread, that last thing that I've been able to hold on to. And even doing these cards, I don't feel the joy that I usually do when I craft or do art, because I've always been a super creative person. So even now I'm having to force myself to do this thing that I know I should be enjoying. And then I spend hours doing therapy, literally, between individual therapy and group therapy. We're doing like 11 hours a week. And the skills, you'll learn skills, but people are constantly telling you skills. It's trying to learn how to implement them. And I've heard some fabulous ones. And there are some ones that I try to think about, but I also suffer from that whole out of sight, out of mind thing, which is a whole other issue on its own. But in therapy, you get to see all these other people, and it has sort of become my social situation recently. Just spending time with these other people who are struggling. I've met people who can't even convince themselves to go outside because they're dealing with things. And I know I'm definitely rambling, but I guess it's really just patience and kindness is, it goes a long way. And I just feel like we need a lot more of it. But yeah, so I have finished up these lovely cards, and if you've watched and listened all the way through, I appreciate it. It's not always easy to listen to people talk about mental health. Thankfully, it's a bit less of a stigma than it once was, but it's still a process like anything is. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for listening.